Welcome back to Unlock, Empower, Transform. I'm Che Blackmon, and this is episode 21. Today, we're cracking the communication code that separates leaders who inspire from leaders who, well, inspire people to update their resumes. Here's a truth bomb for you. I once watched a brilliant CEO tank a $50 million merger because he thought transparent communication meant sending 47-slide PowerPoint decks every Friday. His team knew more about quarterly projections than they did about why their jobs mattered. Spoiler alert, that company no longer exists. But here's what's fascinating, and what I explore in depth in Chapter 5 of High Value Leadership. The leaders who build unstoppable cultures aren't necessarily the smoothest talkers. They're the ones who understand that transparent communication isn't about saying everything. It's about saying what matters, when it matters, in a way that actually builds trust. Let me share something that'll make you rethink everything. Last year, I was working with two different executives. Executive A shared every single decision, every piece of data, every thought that crossed their mind. Complete transparency, right? Their team was drowning in information and trusted them about as much as a weather forecast. Executive B, she was selective, strategic. She shared the why behind decisions, admitted when she didn't have answers, and here's the kicker, actually asked for input before making major moves. Guess whose team would run through walls for them? Transparency isn't about volume. It's about vulnerability, consistency, and, wait for it, knowing when to shut up and listen. In high value leadership, I break down trust into a simple equation: credibility plus reliability plus intimacy, divided by self orientation. Sounds like MBA speak? Let me translate. Credibility. Do you know your stuff? Great. But can you communicate it without making everyone feel stupid? That's the real test. Reliability. It's not just doing what you say, it's communicating consistently. If you only talk to your team when something's on fire, guess what? They'll assume everything's always on fire. Intimacy. No, not that kind. I'm talking about creating psychological safety through your communication. Can people tell you hard truths without fearing career suicide? Self-orientation. Here's where most leaders fail. Every communication is about them, their vision, their goals, their success. Trust plummets faster than my patience in a meeting that could have been an email. Now, let's connect this to building your leadership pipeline. You know how I talked about looking for teachers in Tuesday's episode? Well, here's another unconventional truth. Your best future leaders might be your quietest team members. Why? Because they're listening, they're observing, they're understanding the subtext, the politics, the unspoken dynamics. When they do speak, people lean in. I once promoted someone everyone thought was too quiet for leadership. Within 6 months, she'd transformed the entire department's culture. How? She communicated with surgical precision. Every word mattered. Every message built trust. Every interaction deepened connection. Stop looking for the loudest voice in the room. Start looking for the most trusted one. All right, time for your quick exercise. This one's deceptively simple but brutally effective. I call it the 3-word truth. For 1 week, before any significant communication, email, meeting, presentation, ask yourself these 3 words. Is this helpful? Not, is this accurate? Not, is this comprehensive? Not, does this make me look good? Just, is this helpful? If you're sharing bad news, is it helpful to sugarcoat it or to be direct with compassion? If you're giving feedback, is it helpful to list every issue or focus on the one that matters most? If you're casting vision, is it helpful to use buzzwords or to paint a picture people can actually see themselves in? Watch what happens when helpful becomes your communication filter. Your emails get shorter, your meetings get clearer, your team gets stronger. Here's what nobody tells you about transparent leadership. It's not a communication style, it's a culture builder. Every time you communicate transparently, you're giving permission for others to do the same. I learned this the hard way. Early in my career, I thought being professional meant being perfect, never admitting mistakes, never saying, I don't know, never showing uncertainty. You know what that created? A team that hid problems until they exploded, hoarded information like gold, and played politics like it was an Olympic sport. The shift happened when I started modeling what I wanted to see. I made a mistake on that forecast. Here's what I learned. I don't have all the answers, but here's what I'm thinking. This scares me too, but here's why we're doing it anyway. Suddenly, problems surfaced early. Ideas flowed freely. Trust became our competitive advantage. This connects directly to what I outline in the Shield Resilience Strategy Guide. In the section on external support, I talk about activating your network strategically. But here's the thing, you can't activate what you haven't built through transparent communication. Your support network isn't just about who you know, it's about who trusts you enough to give you honest feedback, challenge your thinking, and support you when things get tough. That trust, it's built one transparent conversation at a time. The daily practices section of Shield includes strategic check-ins. One of those questions is, am I operating from strength or reaction? Apply that to your communication. Are you communicating from a place of authentic strength, or are you reacting to fear, ego, or politics? So, how do you build this into your leadership development programs? Stop teaching communication as a skill and start teaching it as a trust building system. In my high value leadership intensive, we practice what I call trust rounds. Leaders share something they're struggling with. Not a polished case study, but a real, messy, in progress challenge. The group doesn't solve it, they just witness it, support it, learn from it. You know what happens? Those leaders go back and start having real conversations with their teams. They stop performing leadership and start practicing it. They stop managing information and start building trust. Here's your homework. This week, have one radically transparent conversation. Not radically honest. That's just being mean with good intentions. Radically transparent. Share the why behind a decision. Admit what you don't know. Ask for help with something that matters. Then watch what happens. Watch how the energy shifts. Watch how engagement changes. Watch how trust builds. And if you want to go deeper on building resilience while you're building trust, grab your free Shield Resilience Strategy Guide. The external support section will transform how you think about professional relationships. Drop a comment and let me know. What's the hardest part about transparent communication for you? Next Tuesday, we're diving into values in action, moving beyond posters to lived culture. Because let's be real, if I see one more corporate values poster gathering dust in a conference room while the actual culture is toxic, I might lose it. Until then, remember, unlock the power of transparent communication, empower others through trust, and transform your organization one honest conversation at a time. I'm Che Blackmon. Keep leading with purpose.